What's new, crew? Welcome back to my channel. Today I am bringing you guys through a whole week of just little putsy homestead projects. I think a lot of people think that to live this sort of lifestyle it takes a ton of time every day from sunup to sundown, and in some seasons that can be true, it can be accurate, but most times it's a lot more well-paced than that. It's little sprints. It's not necessarily like a massive marathon all the time, even in the busiest seasons. And this is definitely a busy season on the homestead. So I kind of just wanted to do that and show you guys that it doesn't have to be your entire life to grow food or preserve food for your family. So we are starting off, of course, with some strawberry jam. This was on my list of things I really wanted to get on the shelf this year. We needed a lot of jam. We are going through much more jam these days as the kids are getting older. The kids will go through spurts where they can go through a whole jar of jam in like a week. So the goal this year is to get a couple of varieties of jam on the shelf to mix it up. And one of the favorites that the kids have is strawberry jam. So my in-laws went to a local U-Pick with some of my bigger kids because I was only a couple days postpartum and was just not moving very well yet, if you know, you know. And they went in with the big kids and went picking for strawberries. They came home with 2 flats, and then I went ahead and canned it up. And canning jam is really easy. It was something I was kind of intimidated about, but just a couple really easy, simple ingredients, and just like that, I had a bunch of jam ready for the shelf. So after it sat out on the counter for about 24 hours, I rings off, labeled them just as strawberry jam and with the year. I'm really bad at labeling my jars, so I'm trying to get better at that because it is a really big pet peeve of my husband's that if he wasn't involved in the canning process, he doesn't know what it is. So trying to do better at canning those things or labeling my canned goods. Then we had a couple days of straight rain, and you learn to enjoy the rainy days on the homestead. We made some cookies and these little pizza dippers that the kids really like for lunch, and tackled some inside house projects this day. The kids are flying through the homemade popsicles, so every couple of days I'm making a different batch of popsicles. This day it was an Oreo, I don't know what to call these, but kind of like an Oreo pop, and I've been popping these in the fridge in the morning and getting them kind of ready to go for the afternoon. A week during the summer I will prep a big pasta salad and keep it in the fridge for easy lunches and easy sides for dinners, and we will eat it throughout the week. So on this day I prepped that pasta salad for the week. The orchard is doing so many amazing things right now. A lot of my tomato plants are really starting to come to life. No tomatoes yet, but lots of flowers, which is so exciting. You guys remember we had a really late start to the season, so I was kind of nervous about it, but things are really popping off, which is great. Really early in the morning, me and some of the kids came out like literally still in our pajamas, hair not brushed, and went out, and I had a couple things I wanted to get done while the newborn was still sleeping inside with my husband. And of course, all the cameras are out. My oldest kids love to come out and take pictures and things in the orchard and document how things are going. But I wanted to get some fertilizer on all of my plants and put some tomato cages on. And we talked about in my garden tour how I was gonna chaos garden, or I was thinking about it. I did do that. I just dumped out a ton of seeds and they are starting to come up, which is so exciting. the thing is, my chaos garden stuff looks better than the stuff I intentionally planted, which is always the way it goes, right? But things are really starting to come to life. I was really happy I got all of my fertilizer on before we had another couple days of just rain and thunderstorms. And between the fertilizer and all of the rain and the heat, my garden has taken off and looks so good. I always get questions on what do the kids do while I'm spending time in the garden, and they just play. We have a couple toys out in the orchard, a couple like ride-on cars and things that my toddler plays on, and like I said, my older kids love to bring out their cameras and take pictures of the flowers, and they get really excited to see things growing as well. Me and my older girls have a couple like skincare products we want to try making, and one of them requires these purple clovers, and I love showing the kids foraging because it's just something so simple. There's no work that goes into it. You don't have to grow anything, you don't have to start anything. It's just going out and picking. And of course, what little girls don't love going out and picking flowers? So they helped me pick some clover, and of course Cleo's picking all sorts of different flowers here, and we are going to dry these out and get them ready for that said project. I'll be bringing you guys along for that project, but we are going to make a dried red clover kind of lotion or salve, and I'm so excited about it. So we went ahead and collected a ton of those for said project. I came back inside and kind of cleaned off the ones that Cleo had picked with all of the stems and things, and put those in a jar and set them out on my counter to dry over the next couple of days to get them ready for our said project. I also had a couple of onions that I did not get in the ground before I had juniper, so I wanted to go out there and just kind of finish planting these off and go ahead and check on some of my raised beds and some of my potatoes and just see how things were going, because this is the first time I had really been out here since having the baby. I have a ton of spinach in here. Here's a batch, here's another batch of spinach, and then back here I have a ton of romaine. I opted to leave the weeds in this bed because they're helping shade it, and it's keeping it, most of it, from bolting. Like I have some here that is already bolting. We had a heat wave, it was like 100 degrees for a couple days, and some of it just naturally ended up bolting on me, but you can tell it's bolting where there's not a lot of weeds, kind of helping to keep things cool. Like this batch looks really good still, and all of my lettuce looks great because it's got weeds on both sides of it here. So I am going to get probably a plastic bag or something and come out here and harvest a ton of lettuce to get washed up for the week, and some spinach as well. My potatoes are also getting flowers, which means pretty soon they're gonna start dying back and we'll be able to harvest some potatoes. I'm seeing a couple more flowers over there too, which is exciting. So we should have some fresh homestead potatoes here in the next couple of weeks.